Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. He who withholds his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him diligently. We want to talk today about disciplining children, and this is just critical to understand and to learn. You know, many people don't discipline their children, and then other people discipline their children too severely, too strongly. You know, truth is always like a road, and there's a ditch on either side of the road, and one ditch on one side is you never apply any discipline at all to your children. Never correct them, let them do whatever they want. That's highly destructive because children need discipline to set appropriate boundaries, to learn where boundaries are, to be secure within their own identity. The other ditch on the other side of the road is to discipline them too severely, to discipline them in anger, or to take their identity and their value in an attempt to discipline. And God never intended for us to do either one of those things. So God intended for us to remain up on the road with wise and righteous discipline. Discipline that is fair and just, but discipline that is also kind and loving. It's always critical to separate identity from behavior when we discipline. What does that mean? That means that I always want to make sure that I can convey to my son or my daughter, I love you and you're valuable no matter what you do. If you do right, I love you and I bless you. If you do wrong, I still love you and I'll still bless you. I'll bless your identity, but there's correction coming. So how does God discipline? With choices. He offers choices or options with consequences. So rather than saying, you do what I want or I'm going to make you feel worthless, I'm going to yell at you or scream at you, that's the way discipline occurs many times. This is not God's discipline. I remember, one time I learned that lesson when my youngest son, Johnny, when he was 4 years old, used a very obscene word in Sunday school. And I was the pastor. And when his Sunday school teacher told me that, I was so embarrassed. Anger rose up in me and I wanted to punish Johnny right there on the spot, not for his benefit, but to show the teacher that I thought this was serious. And the Lord really stopped me and said, you're not disciplining him for your benefit, you're disciplining him for, just the opposite. You're not disciplining him for his benefit, you're disciplining him for your benefit. And I really realized, I need to get out of the ditch where I'm angry and I want to punish him because he made me look bad, and get my own identity sorted out first. Then I can apply appropriate, loving, kind discipline, but correction that honors a child, honored my son. And I was able to do that. And it changed him. I mean, he didn't use that obscene word anymore, but he understood that it was serious. Let me give you 5 things that are critical, or 5 reasons to discipline, to apply discipline to a child. Number 1, willful disobedience. You give them a command, you tell them what you want them to do, and they do exactly the opposite. A second thing, an improper attitude of pride, selfishness, rising up, I'm going to do what I want to do. That attitude requires discipline. A third one is disrespect. You know what that really means? Refusing to honor the authority of a teacher, of a parent, of a pastor. So disrespect, not conveying honor or granting that person of authority the right to speak into their lives. A fourth good reason for discipline of a child, lying, not telling the truth. A fifth one, deliberately hurting or wounding other children. And that's not an exhaustive list, but those are 5 good reasons to apply discipline to a son or daughter. Again, how do we do it? We give options with appropriate consequences. What happens for violation? If you obey, this is the consequence. If you disobey, this is the consequence. And we apply that consistently. So I encourage you, don't be slack in disciplining your children, but don't dishonor them when you discipline them. Discipline your son, discipline your daughter with age-appropriate discipline, without anger in your heart, with respect and with blessing, with honor, and you'll never lose the heart of your children, and you'll set appropriate boundaries. They'll be secure in their own identity. There's a whole lot more on that in various materials that we have written, and CDs, DVDs that are available on our website. I encourage you to just check out some of the resources, and of course lots of other resources around as well. So discipline of children is critical. Let's just pray. Father, I pray for each one of us that have children, Father, that you would give us your wisdom in disciplining them. And Father, that we would know appropriate discipline. Perhaps our own fathers and mothers did not discipline us appropriately. God, would you teach us as fathers and mothers how to apply appropriate discipline to our children, how to do it consistently and diligently. I thank you, Lord, that as we learn to discipline and honor, we will bless our children and establish secure, wise young men and women in our own household. I pray that for you, that you would establish secure, wise young men and women in your household. God bless you.